I had to make giant feet. There's a picture of me.
Quentin Tarantino film?
I can send you the picture of me in the feet. But I had to design. We made commercials for Unisom, that was supposed to be kind of like a Japanese game show. Everybody knows Japanese game shows, fucking crazy hijinks. So it was like Japanese game show style set, giant ball pit, like it was crazy. Obstacle course on tricycles with like ramps and people falling off, like it was nuts. But one of the things was two people raised up into the air holding onto bars with humongous feet on their feet, kicking each other until one of them fell off. So I had to figure out how to make the feet. And the solution was scuba fins and then slowly building up spray foam until the feet were like this long. And they had to look real. So they looked like real actual feet with like veins and like toenails and all that stuff, but they were like giant spray foam feet. And I was like, that was the happiest I've ever been. I was like, I made giant feet. Because you can't find that shit. That's the thing about the art department is like, I'm like, okay, I need giant. I proposed it. Now I gotta find some giant feet. There's got to be giant feet somewhere. Someone has done this before, and there's like no one has giant feet. So you just have to make everything yourself, and you have to like. It's always shitty. Like the first 6 times we tried to make the feet, they fell apart, and it was shitty until they didn't. You know.
And they probably held together like just long enough.
Actually, no. By the time we got the first 2 feet, the first kick, they fell apart. We were like, fuck. But then by the time we perfected our plan, they were together. They lasted forever. But then you have to throw shit out, which is so shitty.
Constantly.
Because I can't store
Giant feet.
You
don't have like a big warehouse anywhere.
I don't have a big warehouse anywhere. You guys have a big warehouse.
This is nice.
That same shoot, there was a tricycle obstacle course that had like multiple ramps, and like 2 tracks, and the people on the on the tricycles had to have a giant iced coffee balanced on their heads, and you would think like, oh, giant iced coffee, just get like a really big like a venti, but the client was like, no, can you make it like giant? And I was like, not without like neck damage. You can't just like put that much weight on someone's head. Like, and they didn't want them to wear helmets, so I couldn't attach anything to a helmet. They wanted it to look like they wanted it to look like it was balancing, right? Which is super hard to do. Like, you need tricks to do that. Like, they have to wear a wig.
Monofilament.
Like monofilament. You're going to need some hot glue directly to the scalp. But they were like, no, we want it to be big. And so we got these like, there's a right way to do it, which involves money, which there wasn't enough money. It involves money and time, and there was no money and there was no time. There wasn't enough money and there wasn't enough time.
This is where shitty rigs are born.
Shitty rigs were born in this
little void. It's like the Venn diagram of shitty rig. It's like not enough money, not enough time, and people who don't care to listen to your thought process. It's like shitty rig.
And people are like, can you make it bigger? Great. So the right way to do it would be to have, how do I describe this? A hollow, like a
hollow center.
A hollow center.
Okay.
And so there's liquid, like a thin layer of liquid around the outside.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. So it looks
like how the toy baby bottles are made.
Yeah.
Yes, toy baby bottles, exactly. Okay. Because at the end of the gag, one of them falls off and the coffee spills. And they wanted it to be a continuous shot. So we couldn't just like put a fake coffee, and they were getting these close-ups of the coffee like moving around. It had to be liquid, and ice had to be in there. So I had fake ice, which, did I ever give you the fake ice back?
You gave it to us for a week and then you took it back and you never gave it back to us.
I'll get it back to you at some point. Anyway, so there would have been, if I had money and time, I would have had somebody fabricate a hollow giant coffee cup that had like a bit giant straw and like room for a little bit of liquid, and it would have been mounted on a wig that would have been secured to the head. But we had like 4 days to do the entire thing. It was like last minute. And
how many cups and for how many people?
2.
Okay.
But it was 2 people racing. But then like we found these clear buckets and we were like, we're making our own hollow core. and it was like so much fucking hot glue. We were like, we put, and it couldn't be heavy. So we couldn't put anything heavy in. So we had foam and hot glue.
Well,
Are you learning things?
It's two out of 5.
And I'm sure that there's like art directors out there or prop designers out there right now listening to this being like, what a fucking idiot. Yes, thanks. We know. But I had like a whole team and we were like all doing different things and we had giant feet to make. We had like huge ball pits to make. We had tons of shit to do. And like we were like the coffee cup. I knew from the beginning, I was like, the coffee cup will be our greatest challenge. Mark my words. And so we built this thing so it had a layer of liquid on the outside and it was foam in the middle so it didn't weigh anything and you could see the liquid and the ice was in there and the cap was on and the straw and we were like, oh, we fucking did it. And it like weighed nothing and it looked real and we like attached it to their heads with these headbands that would like their hair would cover it up from the hair and makeup department and they had a chin strap that was the same color as their flesh. Wow. And it was like, yay, it's working. And then the very first like it was like, take one, action. Both of them just exploded, like both just fell apart. They both were like, we're riding our tricycle. And they just like went, and then just everything spilled and the foam popped out, like flew across the room. And the client was like, can we reset that? And like the executive producer was like the client, all the agency and all the client, they all came to me. And I was like, on the walkie, I could see them coming toward me and I got on the walkie to the executive producer and I was like, we need a buffer. You got to get over here. Put your suit jacket on. Like we need a buffer. And like Rufus put on his suit jacket and came over and was like, hey everybody, we're going to go craft service, something to get them away from me. And then the whole art department, we were like, what do we do? And everyone was like, I'm out of ideas. We had like zero ideas. And we were almost completely fucked. But then we just like rebuilt them the way we had built them and prayed. And they lasted for 2 takes. And then that was it. Wow. It was crazy. I was like, they were like, can't you just fill a bucket with water and put it on their head? And I was like, no, it weighs like 20 pounds. Like, you can't do that.
On the tricycle.
They were like small dudes too. They were like little nerdy dudes who were like super cute. And I didn't want to hurt them.
No neck muscles.
No neck muscles. It was bad.
Like yours. Yeah.
The gym, man, just pumping that neck muscle.
Is that what you do? You just put a bucket of coffee on your head and you just fucking go?
You see how they pull cattle? You just put it around the neck. Me, I was like, on the gym, just pushing it, pumping right. Yeah.
It just all comes down to unrealistic client expectations.
All the time.
Well, I think that's also like, you got to put those expectations into a box.
What are you saying, Mike?
I said that's probably like the producer being like, yeah, we can do that. No problem.
Mm-hmm. Just nodding.
That is
Producers
true.
saying yes when they shouldn't say yes.
Ice coffee bucket on their head? Yeah, no problem. We can do that.
Totally.
We got someone who knows how to do that. And then they go, Corey, can you do that? And you're like, what? Why wasn't I involved in this conversation?
I know. I'm always like, please don't throw me under the bus. Please don't. Please. So they threw me under the bus.
And then you're under the bus. You're like, hot glue.
I'm like healing my wounds in real time. Like, oh my arm. Oh. Yeah.
The bus hits you, and then you're like, hot glue, zip ties, modern filament.
Her next job's gonna be a paramedic on scene on set. Just I got some hot glue. Come over here. Just
I feel like I'm a paramedic on set quite often. It happens.
I mean, that's kind of what that role is. You're essentially like putting this together. You're like, it's not going to hold for long, but it'll get us to the next
thing. That's the thing. It's not going to hold for long. And as long as you can get like 2 takes out of it, you're good. Mm-hmm. That was
a little work and a little prayer. And then
yeah. And then it's garbage in the dumpster, like everything else, which is terrible and sad.